So I'm going to go with the warm yellow. And I'm just going to make a nice little... almost forgot. I've been working in this portrait format, so I'm going to do it like this. So hopefully you guys could see it. So I'm going to grab some of this warm yellow, and I'm just going to do a circle right here. Now this is another chance for you to play with technique. So you could do wet on wet, you could do wet on dry. Now, so I don't have to rinse, wash my brush. What I want to do is I want to grab some of that yellow, and I'm going to put it right here in this little well. Not much. That's about it. Now I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to clean it. And I'm going to select one of my reds. So I selected a warm yellow. I'm going to select a cool red. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a triangle. So down here, I'm going right over to this edge. I'm going to make just a nice circle once again. And remember, here's another chance for you to play with technique. So you could be playing with consistency. You could be playing with wet on wet. Ooh, and that would have been a good one. Wet on wet. Dabs. I can actually just add a little extra water at the edges. So I'm going to soften the edges of this circle. Just so it looks a little more playful, I guess. So you see there's a little gradation at the edges. And the more water I add at the edge of that, the more it loosens up. There we go. And now I'm going to touch just a tiny bit of that red, and I'm going to mix it with that previous on my palette here, with that yellow. Not enough. I don't think it's orange enough. It needs a little more red. Touch a little more of it. And I'm just going to create a variation of that orange right there. Now the beauty of this is where this can go. Because I could go back to my yellow, add more yellow to that orange, and I could place that here in between these. And I could go the same in the opposite direction and add one that's more orange than the previous. So we have that red-orange feel here. I feel like I need to add a little more yellow to my orange. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. This was just too, there we go. It was a little too yellow. So I'm going to make it more orange. Perfect. And I'm going to go with just my warm. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, let's go with our warm blue. So I'm just going to drop lots of water. And it's tinted already. And then I'm going to bring in more pigment and just drop it in. Have some of that wet on wet magic happen there. Now, as that dries a little bit, I'm going to grab some of this blue, put it on my palette here. A little more pigment. Rinse my brush just a little bit and go back into my red. And I'm going to begin mixing. Notice how I have them separated here? Just a little bit to the side. So I can begin to pull in a little bit of blue into the red until I see, because it's not necessarily 50-50, but I could always add more blue or more red. And here it is. Now to that same color, I'm going to add more blue. And I'm going to take it just one little bit this way. And I'm going to go deep into the red again and just pull a little bit of that. And just have, oh, they're too close. They're too similar. So this one needs a little more blue. And just play with the mixtures. So this is how we begin to look at color mixing. The simplest way you can look at it just by starting with 3 primaries, but there's so much to look at beyond just these 3 colors, because remember, I have 6 different varieties of it. So the combinations, believe it or not, are unbelievably different. And we're going to explore just a few of those. Go back into my yellow. And there it is. A nice green. So you see, with just 3 colors, 1 yellow, 1 red, 1 blue, I could begin to expand this into hundreds, if not thousands of colors, honestly. And it is your sense of mad scientist that will dictate how far you would be willing to explore the limits of those color mixtures. Because here's what I want to point out. Between every single one of these colors, I'm sure you could do 1 or 2 more. Between every single one of these 2 colors, you could do probably 2 or 3 more. And there's still so much variations. Just for fun, I'm going to grab... let's try this one. I like this one, actually. Yellow. So I'm going to take this yellow, and I'm going to remix this purple. I actually have some still there. And I'm going to mix those, see what happens. And I'm going to put that in the middle. So there's that yellow, and I needed to mix a little more. And by more, I mean a little deeper, more saturated pigment of purple. More blue. And now bring that yellow in. And what you're going to see happen is you begin to have these earth tone, gray, brown colors that are just unbelievable to work with. And depending on the ratios of pigment that you decide to apply to them, you're going to have browner, redder, warmer, or bluer, grayer, cooler colors. And to the point where you'll actually make black. And the way you would make black here is you mix a ratio of yellow, blue, and red to the point where probably you will be using a lot more blue. It'll begin to look like black. Kind of like I'm doing here. So, not only do you have infinite possibilities between each one of these colors around the wheel, but from this color, any color, towards the middle, there's another huge spectrum of possibilities. And we're not going to go there today. I just wanted to show you very quickly how this could be, it could just turn into a passion. A lifetime passion for exploring pigments, colors, and all the beautiful combinations they can make. And I would do the same thing. So curious to see if you selected any other type of yellow. And here's what I want to demonstrate last for just to cover all things color theory today in the most basic of ways. Remember, this yellow on on my sketchbook was my warm yellow. So I'm going to select just a little bit of the cool yellow. And I'm just going to make a mark right here so you can see the difference. It's very different from the one I picked. And I'm going to pick the warm red. And just make a mark of that here. Now I'm going to mix those two. And hopefully you'll see the difference. When we mix different temperatures of color, notice the difference in the quality of orange that we just create here.